Hi everybody, so it is Sunday night. Welcome to another week of Meals on the Seesaw. Not starting on our usual Saturday as things have been a bit crazy here over the Easter weekend. So last night we were going to have the chicken pies with some chips and veg, just for a quick and simple Easter Saturday meal. We had the afternoon out at a car show in the village or in the town where we live. It was just a small one to raise some money for the football club and their sponsored and their charity of the year sort of thing, their sponsored charity. And it was just a few minutes walk from the house. So we went and had a look at that, had an ice cream and what have you. And then we were going to watch a movie last night and have the chicken pies. I turned the oven on to heat up for the chicken pies. I went back kind of 20 minutes later and it wasn't even remotely warm. And so the thermostat appears to have gone in the oven, which on Easter weekend is not the ideal time. It's always the thing though with those sorts of things. It always happens like at Christmas or in the holidays or at some time when ideally it's harder to get somebody out to look at it. So we had to kind of rejig the plans. So last night, as it was already starting to get a bit late, we just used it as an excuse to order a cheeky Nando's. It's about a 10-minute drive from where we are to the Nando's now. It used to be just a few minutes from the old house. So Tony ordered it and then he went, and by the time he got over there it was ready. But we did have a later dinner and it was good. It was yummy, but it wasn't what we had planned, and we didn't fancy takeaway like pizza or fish and chips or something like that. So we did that, and so then I've moved everything that could be made on the stove top to the front of the meal plan for the rest of the week, in the hope that we can get somebody out to look at the oven on Tuesday. So we're having the smoked sausage stir fry tonight, not a traditional Sunday meal by any stretch of the imagination, but it works because it only needs the hob. So just some smoked sausage. This is the Mattison's smoked sausage. I had 2 of those. Sliced up, just seared off in the pan a little bit, and then I added a large pack of the sweet and crunchy stir fry mix from Sainsbury's from the fresh food aisle. Let that all cook together for about 5 minutes, and then I added in 2 sachets of the chow mein sauce from Aldi. That's the sauce that Caleb picked for this week, and then 3 of the little packages of straight to wok noodles. So each bag has 2 little packages in, so I've used a bag and a half to be enough for us, and just let that all work together to let the noodles heat through, the sauce to heat through. The sausage is obviously just about cooked. It's smoked sausage. You could eat it straight as it is, so it is just really needed searing because we like it with a bit of a sear on it like that. And then the vegetables really just, they're all chopped, so they don't take very long at all. And we're going to have that with some prawn crackers, and we're going to watch our movie tonight as it's Easter Monday tomorrow, so we don't have to get up early. And so that's the plan, and then we're just going to have to see how the rest of the week goes in terms of food prep. I may have to get a bit creative and perhaps change some of our meals if we can't get the oven fixed on Tuesday. I may need to change to some things that I can make in the actor fryer or on the stovetop instead of what we had planned. So stay tuned to see what happens for the rest of the week. But for now, on Sunday night, Easter Sunday, we're going to have our smoked sausage stir fry with prawn crackers. And we were just saying, you know, a lot of families at Easter will have family over and they have a big roast dinner, and thankfully we weren't doing any of that. And so it was just the 3 of us, and therefore we can be quite flexible. But off to enjoy this, watch a movie, and just relax for hopefully the rest of the Easter weekend. Hey everybody, so it's Monday night, Easter Monday, and tonight we're having another meal that I was able to make completely on the stove top. And so this is a take on, so in the States it's quite a popular dish in some parts of the States, which is like a stuffed cabbage roll casserole. And it's big leaves of cabbage. Take the big outer leaves and you stuff them with a mixture of mince and rice and seasonings, and then you put a tomato-y kind of sauce over them and bake them. Quite popular at potlucks and things like that. I think it's Germanic in cultural background, as I think it's quite popular in areas where there's lots of German immigrants historically in the States. So I'm not quite sure what it stems from. There's probably a popular German dish that's very similar. But the reality is I don't have time to faff around stuffing cabbage leaves and all of that. So this is the same ingredients, but I've just got it all chopped up in a casserole. So I took a large package of mince and some unchopped onion, and I put some Cajun seasoning in just to give it a bit of a different taste. So you could put whatever you want in. You could put just general herbs and spices, whatever you like. You could put Italian style seasoning in it. You could put Mexican style seasonings, just whatever works for you and your family really. But I've put some Cajun seasoning in with it. Then once the meat is browned and the onions started to go a bit translucent, you add in some chopped cabbage, a carton of passata, or that would be a can of tomato sauce in the States, and then a can of chopped tomatoes as well, and some water. And I used about 1.5 cups of water, as the passata is a little bit thinner than American tomato sauce. So I put about 1.5 cups of water. You want to make sure there's plenty of liquid to enable the rice to cook. So you add in a cup of uncooked long grain rice, sprinkle that all in, stir everything together, bring it to a boil, cover the pan, make sure you keep it covered, and cook it for about 20 to 30 minutes until the rice is cooked through and the cabbage is nice and soft. And then just sprinkle over some cheese on the top, pop the lid back on and let it melt. So it's a bit hard to see it there because it's just a big plate of orange, but there is the onion, the mince, the rice. You can see the rice in the back there. You can see the pieces of cabbage leaf chopped up in there. I've just chopped it up, not really finely, some quite big chunks of cabbage leaf left there. And then the cheesy layer on the top with the nice tomatoey sauce. So that is our dinner. We were going to have it with the part-baked rolls that you just finish in the oven. Obviously, you can't do that. So we'll probably just have some regular bread with it, because it's a sort of meal that feels like it needs to have some bread with it of some kind. So we'll probably just have some sliced bread with it for now, and I'm going to put a little bit of salad on the side of mine. So that is our Easter Monday night meal, getting ready to back to school for Caleb tomorrow, back to work for me. Tony's got one more day off tomorrow, but yes, back to normal then. And this is a strange time of the year in the UK because we've got a couple of weeks now until the bank holiday at the beginning of May, which is similar to Memorial Day in the States. And then no, actually it's not. It's the beginning of May bank holiday, and then at the end of May we normally have the last Monday of May as our spring bank holiday, which is similar to Memorial Day, a week before. But this year it's been moved to the Thursday and Friday as we're having an extra day because of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So for the next kind of 6 weeks or so, there's lots of days off and time off and bank holidays to confuse us all. But looking forward to it, and if the weather stays nice, it will be nice. But for now, we're off to eat our cabbage casserole. Hi everybody, so it is Tuesday, I think. We went back to work and school today. Excuse the noise in the background, the washing machine is running, and it's just hit the spin cycle, of course. So another stovetop effort today. This was supposed to be a bake in the oven, butter, all-in-one butter chicken. But I just kind of used the concept, used the same ingredients, and then just made it on the stove top in one big pot, a bit like yesterday's, which it does look very similar to yesterday's but without the cabbage. So this is just some chicken and onion and garlic just sauteed off in a little bit of oil, and then I made up a sauce with a can of coconut milk, some tomato paste or tomato puree, some chicken stock, and then some curry powder, garam masala, chili powder, and a little bit of ginger. And just combined that all together to make a smooth sauce, poured it over the chicken and onions, and then added in a cup of uncooked rice, brought it up to a boil, and then let it simmer away for about 25 minutes or so, just until the rice was all cooked through. So it's a bit of an experiment, but I think it's worked. And then we've got some naan breads with that, and again, didn't have the oven to heat them up in, so I've just put them in a dry skillet with a little bit of sprinkled water on them and just heated them through for a couple of minutes. So I think they're fine. Hopefully the oven is being fixed tomorrow. The man's due to come tomorrow morning, so hopefully we'll be back using the oven tomorrow night. Hi everybody, so the menu this week is obviously brought to you by the colour orange because every meal appears to have been orange this week. I've just used lots of tomato and lots of cheese in things and it's created lots of orange food. The oven is working again, got fixed this morning, so back onto the meal plan today. And this is something, it's a variation of something that in the States is often called Cowboy Lasagna. And it's a meat sauce that you layer up with tater tots, which are little kind of crispy nuggets of potato that are used, they're like tiny mini potato croquettes is the closest thing I can think of here in the UK, but they're not potato croquettes. Now McCain's, I think it is, has started to do a version of tater tots, but I couldn't find them in the store this weekend at all. And so I bought some croquettes and I've sort of kind of made a similar dish but with potato croquettes in the bottom. And there's a key difference that I'll point out to you. So if we go over here, I can show you the dish under there. Now I took a package of potato croquettes and I laid out enough to fill the bottom of my casserole dish with a layer. I then popped them onto the baking tray and I cooked them in the oven just for the lowest amount of time that it says to cook for. I think it was about 15 minutes. Just because I wanted them to start to cook through. Now, if you were using tater tots, which are much smaller, you could just put them in the bottom frozen and they would be fine. But I didn't want them to be just kind of warmed through. I wanted them to have a little bit of crunch on them. And so I decided to cook them a bit first. That's personal choice. You don't have to do it, but that's what I've done. And then I made up a meat sauce. There's a little bit of a variation on a standard meat sauce. So I've got some mince and some onion as usual. And then I added some Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of mustard powder. What else did I put in there? A bit of pepper, some parsley. I'm just looking in my cupboard now to see what I added to it. And I think that was it actually. I used mustard powder to give it almost that burgery type of flavour. And the Worcestershire sauce to give it a little kick with some black pepper. You could add salt if you wanted, but I did not want to. And then a bit of parsley for some kind of herby taste to it. And then I added a can of condensed tomato soup. So again, I've used the Campbell's, which is my favourite brand to use for condensed soups, but without any extra liquid, so just the soup. You could add a little splash of water if you needed to, but you don't want this to be a runny mixture or a kind of gravy type mixture, because it's going to just soak into the potato if you do that. So you want to keep it quite thick. So I added the tomato sauce and then I added a drained can of sweet corn. Stirred that all together, let it bubble away just for about 10 minutes for the flavours to all combine. Then I took my croquettes, put a layer of grated cheese on the top, put the meat sauce on top of that, another layer of grated cheese, and then baked it in the oven for about 20 minutes. Now, if you were using frozen potatoes on the bottom, you'd want to cook it for about half an hour. Just to make sure that the potatoes were cooked through. But this one's very family friendly because you can add into it flavours that your children like. So again, if you wanted to do it, it's kind of Mexican style flavourings with like taco seasoning or fajita seasoning, something like that, you could. If you wanted to give it a bit of an Indian spice, you could with this one. If you wanted to go kind of barbecue-y with some of the kind of barbecue seasoning, and use some of that and perhaps a little shake of barbecue sauce or something in it. So you can really tailor this to the family needs. And with the potatoes on the bottom and then cheese on the top, it's really quite kid friendly. So we're off to enjoy this on a Wednesday night. The nice thing with the long Easter weekend is that it's nearly the end of the week again. We're halfway through and it feels like the week just got started. So off to enjoy this on a Wednesday night. It's a sort of take on Cowboy Lasagna. Hi everybody, so it's Thursday night and tonight we've got a chicken pasta dish. So this is just some chicken breasts sliced up with some chopped up bacon, cooked together in the pan with some paprika, a little bit of salt and some Italian seasoning. Then when that was cooked, I took it out of the pan, and into the pan I added a little bit of chicken stock, a little bit of double cream, what else did I add? Some garlic, some baby. Once that had come to a boil, I then added in some shredded up Parmesan rather than grated. I just took a block of Parmesan and ran the vegetable peeler over it to get some shreds of it. stirred that through, added a bag of baby spinach, a couple of chopped fresh tomatoes, popped the chicken and bacon back in, and put some penne pasta, which I just cooked separately, through it, and just let the whole thing just bubble together for a few minutes to let the flavours develop. So you can see the spinach and the bacon on there. There's chicken. There is tomato in there somewhere. Here's the pan. You can see all the different flavours. This one is quite a simple pull together dish for a busy night, and again, it's one of those meals that you could put whatever you like in with it. If you use the chicken, bacon, parmesan, stock and cream as your basics, you could add in any vegetables that you wanted. Mushrooms would be good in this. I wouldn't use a can of chopped tomatoes because it would be too much juice unless you were able to drain them really well. So that's why I've chopped some fresh tomato in there. But you could definitely add something like mushrooms into this as well. Even some frozen peas or something like that. But off to enjoy this on a Thursday night. The nice thing with a short week is it's nearly the weekend again. So one more work day and school day this week, and then we're back to the weekend. And this weekend's actually got our last rugby festival of the season. We have one more session next week just for training and our awards, and then Caleb moves on to youth rugby from the minis section that he's been in since he was 6. So quite an eventful weekend with rugby. We've got no football, so I do have a day to myself, but got to get through Friday first. So off to enjoy our chicken bacon pasta meal on a Thursday night. Hi everybody, so it's Friday night and we are finishing our week this week with a steak dinner. So Caleb and I have both got a rump steak. We've got some onion rings, some curly fries, some peas and sweet corn, and then I've got some mushrooms with mine as well. Caleb doesn't have mushrooms, and then Tony's got pork steaks as he doesn't eat beef. So off to enjoy this on a Friday night. Friday came around quite quickly, which is quite good. And looking forward to the weekend, hoping the weather stays decent. It's been quite nice again this week here, so hope it stays decent for the weekend. But thank you for joining us for this week of meals, and we look forward to seeing you back here on the SeeSaw soon.